Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
From Battle Creek, Michigan, weighing 230 pounds,
RVD. Boom! Hey! And Katie Forbes.
Yeah, what timing? Heck yeah. Welcome, guys. What's up? Good to see you.
What's up, Dominator?
What's happening? What is happening, Rob? And Katie, good to see you. It's been many weeks, I think, since I last saw you. Right?
Since we did the show earlier, I'm able to do it today.
Right.
Yeah, normally it's the kids' bedtime, and we follow a strict routine around here.
Special early time because we got a special guest.
Right.
And we're stoked. Let's bring her on. The beautiful, lovely Candice Michelle. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Hi. Is that Saba or Karma?
This is Karma.
Look how happy she is.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for the good karma. Oh my gosh.
You look beautiful,
I love
Candice. Oh my god. Your face,
I can't believe
your
you're
hair.
so good already. I can't believe you just had twins. That's
Thank
crazy,
you.
Katie.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted by how pretty you are. Hi.
Our babies are so happy.
Gorgeous.
They have a house of positive energy and love. That's all they get. That's all anybody gets.
That's all they need.
Yeah, we don't have any drama. If we can avoid it, we don't like stress, negative energy.
You're having daddy.
Hi, gorgeous.
So proud of you.
I cannot. Oh,
She's so happy.
I love how she looks at that.
Yeah.
She's always smiling at Rob. And the last time we had him on here, they kind of just slept, and we'd feed them and hold them on the pod. And now they actually like interact and have personality.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. I love that. Hi, babies. My dogs are in here now because my kids aren't
Oh,
babies
nice.
anymore.
Should I do anything?
What kind of dog you have, Candice?
Yeah. Probably just Cameron.
Come on up.
This is my baby. This
Whoa.
is Atlas.
Hello, Atlas.
He's a
Look
big
what a
baby.
piece.
Oh my goodness. No, okay, you are not a lap dog. Okay. I have two boxes. Oh my gosh. Did I
Man.
lose you guys? Oh, there you are.
No, we're
Yay.
good. We're good. I popped you up on there. Just solo. So.
Oh, Katie, how are you doing?
Good. Things are like this week, it's starting to get easier. The babies are about to be 7 months in a few days, which is crazy.
Wow.
But we're starting to like have like a routine that's like fitting, and they're sleeping better. And I'm able to like plan around naps now.
I love
So yeah, that's making it a lot easier.
So you catch your breath
They
and you
can't
lift.
see you.
Yeah.
They can't see you
Hi,
down there.
gorgeous. I know. Oh my gosh, I can look at you all night. Oh, you know, it's such a beautiful thing of like, you know, Rob, we talked about this 20 years ago, like going through security of wrestling to me having the most incredible opportunity of marrying you guys. And now to see you here with your family, it's like, that's a really great thing. So thank you.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful to watch.
People don't know what you're talking about or what you mean by that. So to elaborate, Candice Michelle actually performed the wedding ceremony and married Katie and I.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So having Candice on here might seem like a random guest to those who don't know, but she holds a very special place in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She literally married us.
incredible experience. I remember the first time meeting Katie, and we all went to this dinner after a wrestling show, and she's in the most tiny neon green bikini, like at the dinner table. And I was like, "Is that what you're wearing for dinner?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." Then the next show, outside in this little tutu, and I was like, "Is that what you're wearing in New York City? It's like, 0 degrees." She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, I'm totally down. Like, she just owned her stuff and who she was, and from there, I just fell in love with her. I was like, "Yep, I love real people," and she just was like, "This is who I am," and I'm like, "I got it. I love it." So that was my first experience with Katie.
That was early on. That was so long ago that I was really impressed by it too, because my evil ex, probably hated all the girls because she probably thought that they all had secrets that she didn't know about that were going to involve me, because that's just the way she was. And so she felt very threatened and insecure. And then that was like, like we were still new to each other, and she's like hanging out with all the girls, which already was super cool. And then like they're all looking like she's crazy for not wearing anything. She had
wrestlers that wear nothing, so we're like, okay.
Wow, what to go from one extreme to the other, from a total insecure, crazy to be around person to awesome to be around person.
Thanks.
It's like she don't give a fuck. Also I was introduced. I was also introduced.
I just want to say, like, confidence of who she is, and like, I just love somebody like that. I think everybody dreams to be like that, but most of us just have so many insecurities. So when somebody walks out in this tiny little thing, she's like, "Yeah, girl." I'm like, "Yeah." It inspires other women that aren't jealous. You're like, "Okay, yeah, I want to do that too. I want to wear a tutu one day." And so I just love that about her, where it was, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to be who I am, and nothing's going to persuade me to be something that I'm not. And she just always stood in her confidence like that, which is beautiful for women to see.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We're nonconformists.
That's a great thing to embrace. It's I think so many people too are, like you were saying, Candice, so many people have those anxieties or insecurities about themselves, where it's like they have this wall that they build up. But if you're able to just be who you are and not really be so conscientious of it or wrapped up in your own head about it, it's a great way to handle life. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, because she also lifts people up. It's not like she's like putting people down because she's beautiful and stunning, but it's like, well, you can do that too, and you're like, oh, let's go have fun, like, let's just be who we are, but not break each other down for who you want to be. And it's just a stunning quality that she has.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's a whole nother world that I was introduced to also with Katie, is all the girls, and not even just our girls, like girls that don't even know each other, that are just hot, like lifting each other up. Like we could be passing somebody at the mall, and a girl could be coming towards us that's really head turning, and she'll look at Katie and be like, "Yes," and Katie will be like, "Yes." They just. It's like so much more positive than the ew, than the rolling of the eyes and the hate. And it's just like like right away, when Katie and I started dating, and I saw that, and I saw how much how cool that was, like everybody giving compliments to each other, and her and even her, like her telling me if I give a girl a compliment, it's not a bad thing. A lot of guys are taught by their significant other it's a bad thing to give a girl a compliment, and she'd be like, "No, put her over. She worked hard to look like that," and it's just Awesome.
Well, and I think what's so important about that now is you guys have 2 daughters. I mean, to raise 2 daughters to be, I call them queens, like queens put queens over, you know? And when you have daughters, you don't want to raise them to, you know, feel like they can't be like that, or they can't, you know, raise other women up and raise each other up, you know, being twins. And so now that quality that you've been able to see in your wife to raise your daughters up in that, I mean, it's a game changer in this world for women, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I see those exact qualities in you, Candice.
Yeah, you say us as if you're on the other side of the wall with the insecure girls, but your character and you on TV, your aura, you've always like oozed this sexuality and that's
confidence.
Yeah, and that's
sexuality.
Part of the reason we thought like, fuck yeah, that'd be so cool to have her marry us, you know, because we really love your vibe.
And you're a family woman too.
I love that. Well, and just to have somebody ask you to do something like that, you know, you have to see deeper than just appearance. You know, you see somebody's heart and who they are. Like, nobody's going to have you stand before them on the most beautiful day of their lives if they don't know, like, your heart and your aura. Or Rob, you were saying, like, good vibes only around here. You know, like, you don't want somebody up there like marrying you that doesn't have those intentions in their heart. And you can see that stuff right away in people. And I think that's, you know, what you guys saw in me. So I'm grateful for that and that opportunity to be able to do something like that, because it was one of the most special opportunities that I've ever had.
Oh, it's so special for us too. And it was an honor having you do it.
Yeah.
We should have pictures on here for on the show.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a surprise.
And the best part,
didn't even
I
know.
said, Candy, what do you want me to wear? And she's like, well, be like Candice Michelle. And I'm like, for real? She's like, yeah. So I had this awesome sparkly outfit with a cross on it. And it was so awesome to
you're
bring
so glamorous.
That's awesome.
I already knew you were just perfect for the part, and come as you are, because you just already are so classy and glamorous.
Thank you.
Are back there.
Close my blinds real quick because the lights coming.
Okay, yeah, you're totally fine. We could say hi to some folks in the chat here too. We got Maddie's in the house, so I do want to say real quick for Maddie. Maddie had his mom. He got word that his mom might be passing away, and he's been with his mom in the hospital for the past several days. But he got good news that she's kicking out, and she's good. She's gonna get sent home today.
Wow!
So awesome to hear that.
Awesome.
Good news. That's great news.
He says, "Mom will be watching the show with me if we could get a shout out for her." So, Rob, if you want to give his mom a shout out, he would really love that. He would.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out for Mumsy. Congratulations. We're sending positive energy your way, and keep on breathing. Keep doing what you're doing. Dom, you had mentioned it before, saying maybe we could use an RVDology on the subject, and the subject kind of changed right in front of us to something better than it was. I gotta say, it's like, you thought you were gonna lose your mom, now you got like a whole nother chance, and I'm sure that's more apparent to you than anybody else. So make sure that you spend enough time with her to where you won't regret it if something is to happen in the future, meaning that it's possible that you could lose her someday. If not, then she loses you, one or the other. If you don't see her go, then she's going to see you go, and that's not the natural order of things, which is what I was going to get to when you thought that your mom was going to pass, was that there is light in realizing that you don't make your parents bury you. Candice and I have had a lot of peers that have died really young, made their parents, have their funerals, bury their kids. It's not supposed to go in that order, and it's our responsibility to try our best to not let that happen. So as much as it sucks, when losing a parent or even thinking about it, it's a responsibility. It's a burden that we have to take. But in the meantime, she's living. There's no reason to think about her not living, except for the reasons that I said. But I do want to say this too. Don't set yourself up. It's easy to do. I have been known to do this a lot throughout the years, where I think about like the worst thing that could happen, even though it hasn't really happened. And then when it does really happen, I was prepared for it to be so bad that then I'm reacting in a dramatic fashion that I don't even control, because I've already got myself set up for this moment. It was like that way, like when I lost my dog, it was like that way when I lost my dad. Like before it happened, I was like, oh my God, like what if my dog dies now? Like that's the only thing I have. Oh my God, because I was getting the messages, they die when you take them to get their teeth cleaned. It's a risk. And I was like, oh my God, if that happened, I would totally lose it. I'd be lost. I'd go nuts. So then when it does happen, I already got myself prepared. I already got myself pointed in that direction unnecessarily. It's called depressive hypothesizing. It's not healthy. I wouldn't recommend it. And, just be thankful for each day.
Absolutely.
That was powerful, Rob. I haven't heard that side of you. So I really like, and you're totally right. One of the things that you were saying, because we have lost so many people in our wrestling family before we should have, it is our responsibility to us. And, with me being back as an agent at TNA, like I lost so many people. And when you're in that, I didn't know why or how or what I could do. And when you leave wrestling or you're released or fired, especially back, 20 years ago, what do you do from there? And I remember this wrestler, he's like, what do I do? Work at Home Depot? Like after he was like a famous star traveling the world, living his dream. And I looked down and was like, yes, you have 4 kids. And he was like, what do you mean? But there's a beauty in the art of starting over. And I think that when we die, as we were talking about death, like that's when you don't get the opportunity to start over anymore. And being at TNA and rebranding and, coming back this way, it's such a blessing where I can help people and take that responsibility and say, yeah, you can rebrand and reinvent yourself. Like, look at Rob. How many years have you been in the wrestling business? Reinventing yourself, doing more things, like now here as a family, still reinventing yourself. And it's not easy to do that, but it's beautiful.
Katie saw a fan comment somewhere that said, Rob's lived like 3 lives.
Yeah, right?
9 lives.
His new life is sad. Here's Saba.
Oh, look at Saba.
Hey,
Saba's in the house.
Hey,
Look at Saba.
Hi, gorgeous. They all look
She got it happy.
She's camera shy, I guess.
Camera shy.
One more thing on that. I gotta say, like, a lot of my friends that have died unnecessarily by by carelessness. I mean, you can look at it different angles and you can say, well, it was addiction, it was a disease, whatever. Looking at it as if, they took one too many times and fucked up. Some of those guys, like my first thought when I think about them is that I'm a little upset with them, at what they did to their kids and or family, and it's like, and there's a little blame there, where sometimes I'm like, man, look what you left behind. Like, and like Candice said, death is so final. There's no, once you cross that line, it's done. So But
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
that blame is like when you're in it, you don't know, and you don't know how to help somebody. They don't know how to help themselves. They don't know that they're in it. And it's just such a small bubble you're in until you're not in it. And it's hard to deal with emotions throughout. I mean, we're obviously in the wrestling business, and that's a really hard business, but life outside of business, like Rob was talking about, an ex-wife and marriage and kids and adding all of that stuff. Like, we have a lot of emotions that so many of us just don't know how to deal with. And because of my experiences, I've been able to come back to the industry and hold space for that and notice that and let people be heard. And when they think that they can't make it or they didn't get the right opportunity, that's just not their opportunity, and just putting a different narrative to it, then I think we didn't have that opportunity or know what to do back then.
It's a great point too. And like, you think about, you've been out of the business for so long and getting back in such a prominent position, like with TNA and stuff like that. How did that all come about for you, Candice? Like, how did that all come to be?
Well, I started working in our practice as doing emotional alignment. So I call it magical therapy. It's, for people that maybe don't want to go sit on a couch with a box of Kleenex and a textbook. Nothing wrong with that, but some people, it's just not for them. And so I just created a space where I could listen and work through their emotions and kind of get them through their traumas, through their PTSD. And I got to this place of like, okay, I'm doing one-on-ones. This is awesome, but how do I scale this? Do I do events or webinars? And I just remember I was praying in my bed and Tommy Dreamer called me. And I was like, what? Like, God, you work through Tommy Dreamer? He gets on the phone and he was just like, you were the first person to ever really go viral. You made it in an industry where they hated you. You were never trained and you still made it. And he put me over in this way. He's like, come be an agent. And I was like, really? But he believed in me, just knowing my character, my morals, my values, like the way I live, eat, and breathe. Like when I'm a star on TV versus just at home with my children. Mm-hmm. And so he gave me that opportunity, and I'm so grateful because I just love being back in the business, and I get to pour into people. I get to pour into their dreams. I can see it from a different angle, and it's amazing to be on this side of things where you're like, I can really help this person get to where they want to go. And I remember winning the championship. It was awesome, right? Like your first time ever, like I did it, and it lasts like a minute. And then everybody's chasing you and you're trying to get higher. But if I help somebody else win a championship, that lasts my whole life.
Right.
And so it's a different elevation of when I can pour into somebody and they achieve their dreams. Like that high for me never goes away.
I believe
no one gets higher than RVD.
That's it. That's it.
Oh my God, they just love all the babies. They just
I know, look at the babies.
Cuddle you guys and they just kiss it. Hi. Oh,
they've been doing it a lot lately.
So cute. I love that the world's gonna watch them grow up.
I know, right?
Yeah, because we made the announcement the day that before it was even confirmed by a doctor. Like when I peed on a stick, we made the announcement.
I was looking through the comments on my YouTube page, the Real RVD one, to see if there was anything worth talking about. Because I thought about having like a comment of the week or whatever, and there's one on there that said something about I don't miss Katie being on the show or something, and now the babies are on there. So and now the babies are on there, and it somehow like it sucks or something. There's nothing left of the show.
Oh my God.
Not the babies getting online hate already.
Yeah.
I know, right? What the heck? What is up with people?
Oh,
You know you're over when you're hated. I mean, we
That's
know
it.
this. This is the business. So congratulations.
We're definitely the only wrestling podcast that has babies on here
I
consistently.
love it.
Always trying to find ways to be different.
right.
Yeah,
When I
that's it.
did my first ultrasound, which was them at like 6 weeks old, someone commented and said they look like aliens. I'm like, not you trolling a 6-week in utero baby.
Oh my god.
I one time on my feed, he was like, I hate her eyebrows. And I was like, out of all things, my eyebrows. And I
That's
saw
what
his
you go.
picture sitting in the couch in the corner with this bag of chips. And I was like, of course you hate my eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's one thing you're gonna criticize me, it's eyebrows. Right? Jeez, come on.
I feel like that's one thing of coming back into the business where you have to remember, like, you're going to be hated. Because if you want to be good in this business, you have to deal with the hate. And I just remember coming in thinking, I don't care what anybody says or thinks about me. I'm here to be a force for good. And that comes with both, you know?
Yeah,
And I know Rob, right?
Yeah, if you reach enough people, you're going to be getting opposite views. Otherwise, you're not reaching enough people. Yeah,
That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's true too.
we're not afraid to have an unpopular opinion here on this show. Quite proud of it when the whole internet mark community stands up to say that my opinion is wrong. I love that stuff.
Right?
I love it.
Well, when 7-month-old babies are being hated, you know you're doing something good. So keep doing it.
Candice, what's been the kind of the most rewarding thing of giving people, younger wrestlers, advice nowadays, especially with the background that you've had and you've accrued after leaving wrestling and stuff? So what's been a big rewarding thing for you of giving people advice?
You know, I'm actually when I go, I prepare a lot before each show. I listen to a sermon, I take my supplements, I do my cardio, and I just have this little prayer of Jesus, just take me where I need to go. And I am blown away every time I'm there, like where he takes me. I remember this one girl came back, she had won the championship. But then backstage, she shared like she just went through a divorce. And what this meant for her was so much more than just that. And to be in that moment, to just hold that space for her on how worthy she was and how she built herself back up and where she got to on her own 2 feet. Like those moments for me, like happen every single loop. Like this last loop, there was a guy going through something with his wife, and somehow it's just like I end up being at those places. And if I can hold that kind of space for people and pour into them, and they come back from their match, especially the women, and I watch this, everybody wants to know what they did wrong. And I remember one time, like the match was so good, I was like, this was great. And I watched some of them go to like 4 different guys, very well qualified, to find out what they did wrong. And I'm like, at what point can you not just be happy that you did great?
Yeah.
But we're not always taught that in wrestling, you know? And so to kind of, when my matches, you know, I like to point out the good too, not just like, okay, hey, you did this bad, this, like work on this. It's like, actually, this was really good, and I love this, and wow, you really connected, and putting that voice out there so that it's not just you worrying about how much you're messing up.
Yeah. I do that too much. I like focus on the good. So after my match, I'm like, oh my God, I did so good. So then when Rob did his advice, I was like, oh, where's my bubble? Where Rob said, like, something went wrong, he would like think about it like until he's like trying to go to sleep and it's still bothering him. To me, I'll be living the high of like, oh my god, the fans love me. Like not even like my finisher looked like shit.
Honestly, we don't give ourselves enough credit. You know, most of us, that one mistake out of the whole match, or and you're just like beat yourself up about that when it's you connect to so many people. Right. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Then, Rob, have you gotten better at like not being as critical when you're done with matches? Do you feel like after the fact, like, oh, I did overall pretty good, or stuff like that? Because I know you kind of get a little bit critical of yourself sometimes.
I don't care as much if it's just a small indie show like things that I've been doing lately. Well, I had 3 matches this year. The one in Australia was a singles match, went like 20 minutes. That one, if there was something that was subpar, one little thing, then I beat myself up about it. Or even if I think, you know what, I should have done this different. That would have made so much more sense and set it up and made it mean more if I would have thought about doing a quick roll up here when he did that. And I beat myself up over something I didn't even do just because I know it would have been better. And that's but then the other 2 matches were both, I think, 6-man matches where I only had like 3 or 4 moves and couldn't have been happy with any of the moves. I mean, the ropes were so like loose. It was like, trying to jump off it. Happy if I didn't break my neck, so didn't if it was on TV and that's a whole nother story, especially, live on TV, then that pressure is really on. If it's like, a couple of hundred people, maybe, and it's just but people are still going to see it, but not as many people, but yeah, the last couple matches were 6-man, and it was, it didn't matter, some of it felt kind of sloppy. Some of it was the ring's fault. Some of it was a fuck up, whatever. Like when I busted dude's nose, like that. Yeah. That kind of pickle. Yeah.
That's all.
I had 3 matches this year, and I broke one nose. I had 3 matches, but we just both went for something at the same time, and I went to punch it, and it moved. It just so nothing else mattered about that match except that to me. I was just like, oh man, because it was small enough to where it wasn't like, oh, fuck, you got to keep going, shit,
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. We got some good super chats here. We got Medman Mick. He joined last night too when I messed up. Thanks for the $5, Mick. He says, longtime fan, just wanted to say hi to you, Katie and Candice Michelle. Thanks for all your contributions in wrestling. So
thank you.
Yeah,
awesome.
Very nice, very nice. Wrestling Historian has a question for you, Candice. What was that?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I asked if Katie's coming back to wrestling yet.
I am. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So my goal is like when the kids are like a year old and Rob is able to watch them by himself overnight, then that way I can take bookings and leave the kids home with him. Yeah. But I'm training for it.
Yeah.
And I've had matches, but I've had matches here in Vegas because that way I can come home to the kids. I just haven't done overnight away from them yet. But my goal is 1 year.
Yeah.
So that inspires me every day in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to come so fast. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I know. That. It's crazy. It's going to be so fast. Yeah. So I'm excited. So I'm thinking TNA.
Ooh,
I love it. Yes. Okay, I'm excited about this.
Cool.
Heck yeah.
Totally. It's going to be awesome. That would be perfect.
She already refereed a match. She refereed a match in Vegas, and she was very official. She was very official.
I love refereeing.
Very unbiased.
Very unbiased. Right down the middle, like Fonzie.
Like a referee.
Yeah, I don't play games. I'm a mother. I follow the
Right.
rules.
Yes.
You follow the rules.
Love it.
A wrestling historian asked you, Candice, this. What was Candice's favorite match in WWE? Did you have a favorite match while you were there, Candice?
You know, this is a different answer from what I used to say because of where I am today.
Perspective changes.
Yes.
I remember this match with Melina, and it was always very difficult for us to work together. She didn't want to put together a match with me ever. And I had no experience. So I was really trying to know what I was doing, to keep me and her safe. And I literally had no wrestling background. So to think that we're going to go out in front of a crowd to perform and I can't communicate at all, it was really hard. And I remember thinking, okay, well, I know how to shoot fight, so I'm not going to not go out there. I'm going to go out there and we're going to do something. And so we went out there and we had the best match ever. I knew nothing, but it was like this time when I had to listen to the crowd. I had to listen to her. She was much more experienced than I was. And really just knowing, okay, when are we going to go to the heat? When is the comeback? How do I fight out of the hold? You know, I really had to be in tune with what the audience wanted. And nowadays I can see, you know, they get so much notification on what they're doing that things can be very organized. And that's a great opportunity, but also you forget the crowd times. And so it doesn't line up. And so going out there for that match was so scary. But it ended up being my favorite match because it taught me how to do that and be in the moment and be able to change things up. And I can teach that to people now, you know, but if I didn't experience that, I wouldn't be able to.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Was that on a pay-per-view or at Raw or SmackDown, or which show was that on? Do you remember?
It was actually a house show.
Oh,
it was a house show.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was just so frustrated. I even remember going to the agent. I'm like, do you want to talk to me at all? I was just thinking, what do you guys want me to do? Like, there's like thousands of people out there. And it was just a great opportunity and a great lesson. And, you know, I see the girls now trying to kind of step into that, like really listen, you know, the hold and the heat and all of that. And it makes a complete difference when you do that versus, you know, having it so organized. So it's finding that fine balance of that.
Yeah.
Did you all have better chemistry after having the good match?
No.
Oh.
No, but Beth Phoenix is my favorite person I've ever worked with. I used to say my favorite match was actually the 2 out of 3 falls count with her, which is when I was knocked out and pretty much lost my career. However, like the crowd was so behind our story, you know, they were fighting for me. They were cheering for me. They saw the work. Like when the crowd gets behind you, like that's when it matters. It doesn't matter me just going out there and doing a move. It's like when they believe in you. And so with her, they were believing in our story, and it was so easy to work with her and tell the David Goliath story. And I'm not great at a lot of wrestling moves, but I think I'm great at selling the heat and getting the shit beat out of me. And that was a great opponent for me to do what I was good at, is taking the heat.
Right. Fight from underneath kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's awesome. Yeah. How much was, before you got into the Diva search and everything like that, how much was wrestling on your radar? Was it like not at all, or did you kind of have some sort of maybe fandom or anything like that before you got really into it?
Well, I grew up on wrestling. So
Did you?
my stepdad, he was pretty much my dad. My real dad died when I was 2. And my stepdad was a huge wrestling fan. So I grew up, every Monday night we watched, I think it's called Monday Night Raw back then too. And Hulk Hogan, I had Hulk Hogan dolls instead of Barbie dolls. And I remember climbing up on the couch and just sitting there. My mom would be in the kitchen and she's like, turn that stuff off, it's fake. And we would yell at her and be like, what are you talking about? And he took me to my first live event. I think I was like about 8. And I remember we had seats on the entranceway.
Yeah.
And the bushwhackers came out. You know, the bushwhackers, they're stomping. And they stopped next to me and high-fived me. And so now I know they tagged me into wrestling that day. So years ago. But I think when I watched wrestling, it was always they were my superheroes. I didn't ever think you could be a wrestler. I didn't think you could go to a wrestling school. And so for it to come full circle the way it did, I was like, what? Like, you can actually be one of those people? So it was a cool full circle moment. And TNA is going to be in Chicago soon. So I'm excited because my dad has had lots of cancer and treatments for years. And he'll be able to come to TNA in Chicago. And that will be the first time him actually seeing me. I mean, not wrestling, but in wrestling. So,
Right.
And it was his dream to be a wrestler.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, prayers for your stepdad for sure, and all that stuff too.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Wow. That's great though. So, and that's the thing too. Back when the Diva searches happened, I remember a lot of fans were like really critical of it. Like, oh, none of these women know anything about wrestling or care about it or anything. But here, you were a fan growing up. I think that's what a misnomer that was.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, I remember when they offered me a contract, you know, it was this 3-year deal. They hired me as eye candy. And I just remember signing that contract like I'm going to be the champion. And that was what I focused on doing. You know, I showed up to the arena early to train. I remember finding this ring in California. They charged me $3 a day. And there was like broken down chicken coops over here. And he's like, well, don't bump in this corner. You might fall through. And I was like, what? So I was working with this guy. I was like, well, you bump in that corner first. And if you don't fall through, then I won't either. But it was just what I was going to do. Like, I already knew, like, but they didn't know, you know? And it's just a really cool, like, story when you know what your dreams are and what you're signing up for. And I thought about this recently of, like, this is 20 years later. And I think of, like, how can I still be in the business? And eye candy for me, like, you know, my name is Candice, but very few people call me Candy.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what, like, eye candy, I'm a good person. Like, I have always been loyal to the business. I have always been a ride or die for all my wrestling family. Like, I've always showed up with integrity and grace and fought for the match versus myself. And I think those things of who I am as eye candy 20 years later, like, that is eye candy in the business, you know?
Yeah, that's great. That's a very cool way to look at it too, for sure.
That's my rebranding.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey, how many Diva searches were there?
Was there
3?
3 or 2? I thought, right? 3 or 2.
Well, I thought there was 2, but then wasn't one Christie's and one was Ashley's, and then like if you want to Layla. Well, there was several winners in each one, or a couple winners.
No, it was just a winner. But then, so for mine, which was the first one, and you know, that's a whole gimmick of itself. Like, Christy Hemme was awesome to win that thing. Like, you just knew, like, she was who should win. Even I knew, and I was competing against her. But after the contest was over, then they contacted several girls and offered them contracts. And, you know, that was a moment on, it was a make or break it moment. You know, there was people that came on and they were gone within the first 30 days or the first week. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, we're doing this. Like, this is awesome.
Wow.
But there's definitely an initiation you go through, right, Rob?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something that is missing in the whole smartening everybody up now and you know, getting rid of kayfabe. It's like the fans now think that they know how everything works because the curtains been turned back, and they even make it look like they have these meetings where everything is discussed to a point where everyone just thinks they have it all figured out, but they don't know about the hazing, the initiations, the pecking order, the egos, the backstabbing, the politics. Like none of that stuff is going to come across in the fake real storylines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And you got to survive that, and once you do, like, that's when you're really a part of the family. I even feel like, you know, coming back to TNA, and rightfully so, you have to go through that again. They're like, who is she? She hasn't been in the business forever. Like, why does she deserve to be here? And you gotta, you know, be able to hold your own and hold space and go through that initiation and the hazing and that. I mean, it's different nowadays. Like back in the day, I remember like people legit would shit in somebody's suitcase, and I feel like it's an emotional kind of shit in your suitcase. You know, you're like, did they just shit in my suitcase? I'm like, okay, it wasn't like physical, but it kind of felt the same. I'm like, okay, that's part of the family now. Okay, let's go. But you know, you gotta. They gotta smell out who's real, right? Who's there for the right reasons. Are you really here to help people out? Are you really here to do what you say you're going to do? And they have a right to do that because those people have made the business and they bring in the tickets and the fans. And if you're not there for the right reasons, they're going to make sure you're not there. And so it's an important part of our business.
Yeah, for sure. Rob, do you remember how you felt during like the Diva search and stuff like that when that was going on? Were you like apprehensive, or were you kind of like, oh, I understand this is the name of the game and, you know, this is how WWE handles things? Or how'd you feel about it?
How he felt.
Let's see laughing.
Like, this is taking away from my time on TV.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always that, you know, that perspective of competition that you have to be in when you're there. You got to look out for yourself. You know, you can't expect just everyone else to look out for you and do everything for you. And so, yeah, I always thought, you know, anything that wasn't wrestling was taken away from wrestling, TV time, money, everything. But I did like that because the girls were hot. And I remember, just like you said, I thought, you know, when I saw Christy, I thought she's going to win. I thought the same thing about Ashley on the next year, you know, and it was like, yeah, she's got this one. She's got this one. And then I remember, you know, it wasn't as bad as, because it was like they were going to have a job to be in the wrestling business, to be wrestlers, and it was a scouting, so it made more sense to me than like having the Miller Lite girls fight on pay-per-view when they weren't even ever going to be part of a show, you know. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, bringing them in, and like you mentioned too, Candice, like you were as eye candy, but like you made more of it, and so did Ashley, and so did Christy Hemme too. So that's very cool to see as well too. So,
with that initiation process, like when these girls won or when I got a contract, like, you know, it was kind of the boys' job to see, like, are you guys really here for the right reasons? And you knew who was, like, you knew who was going to start taking bumps or, you know, wanted to put the work in or learn about the business or learn the philosophy, you know? And it was also very clear who was not there for those reasons, you know? And it weeded those people out. And through that, it created a beautiful era of very powerful women wrestling, you know? And so it was the beginning of something that has made something really great for women and all fans today.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. You had a really interesting quote. I think it was maybe like a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, where I saw you said something about there needs to be like women need to embrace more femininity in wrestling. And I think it was, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but can you elaborate on that? I thought that was a really, really cool and good insight on how to view a lot of women wrestling in the state of the business in certain ways.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually got a lot of heat from some people for that.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, this is a good comment. What I mean by it is I don't believe in this world that I need to fight the way a man fights. Mm-hmm. And I want men to be men. I want them to be leaders and strong and powerful. Does that mean I don't want women to be that too? No, but I want it to be from my feminine essence. I want to be able to drop into that, you know, maybe like I look at it like in a marriage, you know, like you can't be masculine and feminine. You have to have both of those. And if there's two masculine energies, you don't have magnetism. And if there's two feminine energies, you also don't have them. And when I see, you know, matches, you got to bring different kind of energies like that. And women have fought so hard to get to where they are. And I don't ever want to take that away. But I also don't want to become a man. You know, I don't want to have to do those things. And so we had this really beautiful intergender match. And I just loved it because the men were so masculine and the women were strong and powerful, but in their feminine essence. And the men lifted the women and the women flew higher. And it was like the man tried to save her and he didn't make it. And like, it was just like, wow, that's like every woman's dream is for the man to want to save her. And then people are like, we can save ourselves. And I'm like, okay, girl, save yourself. And it's true. You know, we can be strong, powerful women, but when you have a man next to you, why can't we drop down into our femininity a little bit? You know, why can't we be a little softer? Do I agree? Like, yeah, we want to earn the same amount of money and we want to take chair shots and we want to go through tables and we want to do all the same things. And I want my man to be masculine so I can be in my feminine. And it's just an essence, you know? And everybody's going to display some different kind of essence. But if everybody goes out there and tries to be the man of the business, then why are we females?
Yeah, I think this idea, this way of thinking gets pushed back because there's so many different views that it seems to be one of those subjects that cycles, you know, like it changes, just like giving referees credibility, you know, telling them, count them down if the shoulder's not kicked out, and then, no, don't do that anymore. Then we do it again. I remember when we went to, I guess it was 2019-ish, COVID, when I went back to TNA. Sabu and I wrestled Penta and his brother, and then it led to a bunch of other matches. And anyway, I remember Scott Demore talking to Katie about this very thing. About he was saying that the girls, you know, are I don't know if he said afraid. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said the context was that you know, girls don't want to be feminine anymore. And Katie, you know, she twerks and shakes her ass and does all that stuff. And Scott was saying he wanted that. He was saying that he saw that as a plus and wanted more of that because it was lacking with the girls just fighting like guys and whatever. And that was just his take at that time.
And that was 2016. So I feel like it was Candice's time when what feminine was beautiful in wrestling. And then it was a time where it's like, I'm the man, like they wanted to fight, like be as manly as possible, to where there wasn't any hot girls in wrestling or women that wanted to embrace being beautiful in wrestling. And now that was in 2016. So I feel like my gimmick stood out then with twerking and being confident in my body, because that's what, like, people were like so against that at that time. Right. But now I feel like it's circled back around to where there's so many beautiful women embracing being beautiful in wrestling.
So I wonder what I think I can guess, but I wonder what your opinion is on, like, there was a point where WWE was
They didn't want hot girls.
No, no, a different time when they were actually so exploitative, exploiting that. That it was like, what are we gonna do next? And all the girls, you were in there, I think during this time, but they were all doing like the bra and panties matches and doing like the dance off that would lead to a fight, and then it's like bring in the fucking oil. We're doing oil wrestling next, and what can we do next week? And
but it's like having a midget match or having a hardcore match. Like there's fans for every genre.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was funny because one of my matches that I hate, that I wish was never on TV, was a pudding match. And that was like real pudding, like up to my waist. And to try to get Melina or Maria out of the pudding and suplex, like, was the worst thing ever. However, it's like the most viewed thing ever. And I did another podcast recently, and there's like millions of views on it. And I'm like, and then when I'm working with TNA, and there's like, George the Iceman, and he's called the Pickle Dick, and he's got this costume on. Like, it's the most viewed thing. Like, we need the diversity.
Exactly.
Here's a hardcore match. Here's some beautiful women. Here's some women fighting for their rights. Here's a Pickle Dick. And it's like, this show's awesome.
I agree.
That's it. No, I think the balance. Go ahead.
I realized like that pudding match was important because I would have told you for years, like, that's not wrestling, because I wanted to do wrestling, but it was important because it was part of the flow of the match. And for people to want to view it so much 20 years later, that's a pretty important thing.
Yeah.
And it
was it
sounds
butterscotch?
silly because that's not, no, it's chocolate.
Oh,
Yum.
all right.
I'm like, Katie, yum.
For me,
Rob,
I was just gonna say, for me, like there was definitely a line when it came to the fake HLA. That was like the thing. Oh my God, HLA! Hot lesbian action, and it was, that stuff, and when it's staged and it's like part of the script and stuff, then I was like, is that too far? But I think we were getting ratings though.
Right.
You guys were, for that stuff, definitely. I think.
I didn't even know what HLA was, so I'm glad you said out loud.
Yeah.
I kind of got that impression from your reaction, but that was. I don't know if you were there during that. I think you were there during that time. Jerry Lawler.
I think it might have been before, a little bit before.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'm like, keep it real, even when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, she don't do that.
Well, back then, it's funny. I'm like, oh, they're totally ribbing us, but we're also given time on TV, and I'm going to take the time and do the best I can with what I've been given. And when I look at it now, I'm like, great. Like, I actually did a lot of really cool things. I had great opportunities, and I gave my best, and I tried to put wrestling first in all of it. And it was awesome to live the career I did. And the next era kind of was like, oh, that's not wrestling. And it's like, well, you have wrestling because we did all that,
Yeah.
And so it was a really important era, I think, of what we went through and where the women's division is nowadays. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. And they're so talented. And the time they're given and the ability to sometimes main event and do things like that, it's like that all stemmed from a whole other era.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did, right? Yeah. I think you showcase it in a great way too, because it's like the aspect of femininity is so cool because it's like it's part of who the women are. You have to embrace that and put that on television. But to the same time too, you understand the fact that like sex sells, and the guys and teenagers are tuning in, watching all this stuff. So there's a market for that there too. And I think though at the same time too, you can still inspire young girls to be like, oh, I want to be like Candice Michelle, or I want to be like a Katie Forbes or a Kalani Jordan or whoever it may be. And just I think it's a very, very cool aspect to find the balance of everything. And I think we're kind of getting there. I think there's a little bit more of that happening for sure. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's a really cool discussion. Somebody clarified that there was three diva searches. So I think 2004, 2005, and 2006. They said, 3 diva searches. Summer. So so we got that all clarified. Something else that I wanted to show. We got another super chat here. This is from Seth. Candice, this Seth is the guy that does our theme song. So what you heard on the theme song coming in, that was him. So thanks for the $10, Seth. He says, "What's up, Van Dam fan?"
I wrote down things from your theme song that I like. I like "Can't Stop Us Now." I like "One of a Kind."
Yeah.
And I like the part "A Little Higher." Like it's like 1% better every day, right? Like better, a little higher. And it's like we can do just a little something, a little note to somebody, a little call to somebody, a little higher. And if we all reach just a little higher, like how does the world look?
That.
That
is so cool. I've never thought of it like that. I've always thought, in Rob's term, jumping higher, getting higher. I didn't think being a higher human being, like the higher sense of worth with what you can do. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Rob, like you've displayed that since I've known you for 20 years. Like, just be good, do better, do your best. Like I've never seen you in like not doing that, not trying to be a little bit higher, every time, every match, every time I see you. And even in life, like now, like that's just beautiful. Like the elevation that you guys have gotten to. And so I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
What an awesome perspective on the song. Wow. Another layer to a little higher in the song. I like it. You guys can all check that out on Spotify too. A Little Higher's on Spotify. So search it.
I hope you do.
I hope you do.
And
Enjoy.
Baby's more likely to turn heel first.
Yeah, which baby's gonna turn heel first? Saba?
That changes.
It does.
It was gonna be Karma. Now it's looking like it might be Saba. Karma used to be the dramatic one that would, like when she cries, it's like it's a contest. Like she's trying to get someone 2 blocks away to hear her. She's like, she screams so loud, and for no reason. Like the first few weeks, she would do that every single time that she would get her diapers changed.
She just wants attention.
Yeah, so we were like, Saba is really the sweet one. But lately they changed, and
we switched.
And Karma got really sweet, and Saba was the one complaining, and now they're both really sweet. But I'm gonna go with Saba.
And Saba, yesterday they were like Karma loves her passy and a pacifier, and Saba doesn't at all. Never takes a passy. So Karma was just sitting there minding her own business with a passy in her mouth, and Saba reached over, ripped it out of her mouth, and put it in her.
What?
Staring at her with the passy, like, acting like she was sucking on it. And we're like, Saba's never sucked on a pacifier. Like, she only knew what to do from watching Karma, and only did it just to stole hers to aggravate her.
She's gonna turn heel first.
Yeah, I think Seth, you got your answer there. I think it's Saba. I think it's Saba.
And like Karma's like more of a baby face now, because people will look at her and be like, hi, and she's like, hi, like she like puts it over and like laughs at people and smiles, and then people try to get Saba to smile, and she just like dead stares. I'm like, and they're like, Rob, because it takes a lot to, like, Rob doesn't just laugh to make someone feel good. He'll only laugh if he really thinks it's funny. So it means more. And that's how.
I'm not very dramatic. No drama.
No drama.
Karma, yeah, it has higher highs and lower lows.
She does.
Yeah, Saba's more stoic, but Karma's middle name is Star, so we're like that. So fits her, and Saba's middle name is Zen, and so she's more level. Yeah, so that fits her too.
Yeah.
Karma's very expressive. She's like,
what you I always thought careful what you name your kids, but nobody tells you that before you name your kids. And so my middle child, she was born in the year of the golden dragon, and my husband is half Japanese. So her name means beautiful dragon. And she is my beautiful dragon.
Yeah.
She is fire. And I'm like, oh. And my youngest is named Aloha, and she is just like, oh, like peace and love, and just like so easy. And I'm like, nobody warns parents on what to name their children, before they turn into that. So good thing you picked good names.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Those names are beautiful. I love the name Aloha. That's so cool.
That is very cool.
That's
Man.
sweet.
That's awesome.
hey, do you remember a couple weeks ago I was talking about Johnny A-Light? We were talking about all the stuff with the mobsters that was in the news. Mobsters.
Oh yeah.
Mafia is like my
It's obsession.
my go-to, has been for years. I read a lot about it and stuff. But anyway, Johnny A-Light, he was one of the first mobsters to have a podcast show, really like one of the first. Anyway, he cleaned his life up, got a job at this with the city council members and all this shit, and then he got busted just a few weeks ago. Extortion. Yeah. So apparently he was loaning money at illegal rates and threatening people. Well, I mean, allegedly. This is what they're saying. But when they raided his house, they found a bunch of baseball bats. And I was saying, and brass knuckles and shit. And they were saying that he would use that to threaten to beat the guys up to no money. And I was saying it's weird a baseball bat isn't illegal on its own, but in the commission of a crime, if they can couple it and make it corroborative evidence, they can make it look dirty or whatever. Anyway, I was saying, I mentioned RVD was on the Johnny A-Light show before. I forgot that I have a souvenir from that, and it's a damn base. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He autographed it.
Wait, that's my birthday, September 30th.
What? Isn't it awesome?
You showing that?
That is crazy.
Right. What are the chances I would show this? Yeah.
On today. Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Very heavy.
Yeah. That is so random that you showed that with her birthday written on there. And
Right.
you say there's no such thing as
Coincidences.
Synchronicity. Yep.
That's cool.
Dom, did you get the contract that I sent you?
The contract, yeah. Let me download it because I have it in the email, and I'll download it.
We're gonna get you in the habit of doing our reoccurring segments.
Yes.
And like bringing them out there in the show, or resegs as we call them in the industry.
Is that what it's called?
That's what we're gonna call them now, resegs. Reoccurring segments.
All right.
While you're looking that up,
Awesome.
Oh, there it is. Here, let me put that full screen real quick, Katie. Keep it up
Why
there.
do I look like Paul Heyman?
That's too funny.
you're on it. We're both on it
Oh
now.
my God. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well,
Rob,
last time we were together, Rob, I saw you at an appearance, and we got to have a meal in the airport, and we started talking about all the things that we have heard or seen on shows that they do in hotel rooms, such as things I didn't know that Rob told me they pee in your coffee maker. So I'm in the hotel rooms now, and I'm like, I really want coffee, and I don't want to go downstairs, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not peeing in this coffee maker. Downstairs I go to get my coffee now.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
hard. It's hard.
God, that'd be a horrible rib because I drink coffee all the time too. Oh my God.
It just grosses me out. Like the germaphobe side of me just gets grossed out thinking about hotels or any public place, but especially a place with sleeping. And it's gotten worse since like being a mom and having to clean up everything and think about babies putting things in their mouth and stuff.
Oh
And then
yeah.
out public places. I'm like, that's so nasty. Like, for example, like the glass cups in the bathroom, everyone says the maids wipe those down with the same rag they're cleaning the toilet. So I never use those glasses.
What? I don't use the glasses. But
Totally.
That's hard.
yikes. Well, yes, Rob, you mentioned it. We have.
So this is a reoccurring segment that we just started doing. This is only our second time, but it's yes, 5-star history. Yay.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
What is for both of you, what is your advice for me on coming back to an in-ring comeback?
Ooh.
At my age, as a mom,
That means
all the
nothing.
things.
You're in such good shape. You're so beautiful. You've like stayed physically active and you've kept yourself up in every way. And even your energy is just young and beautiful. And I feel like, there's not even, it wouldn't even stand out like, oh, she left and she's back. It would just be like you never left.
I think stay true to what you know, hit your signature moves that people grew to love. They'll react to you the way they used to, and it'll have like a retro value to it, as opposed to everyone having to do a Canadian destroyer in order to get a pop nowadays.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's great. One of the things that I remember struggling with when I was new in the business was always wanting to do something different, learning a different move or a different this. And, then you're watching the top guys, like everybody wants to see their signature moves. And I was like, why are people not tired with seeing that? Right. And that was a thing in my mind that I had to really realize is like people come to the shows to see those signature moves and what you're known for. And now, 20 years later to watch, say, RVD go back in the ring, like that's what I want to see. I want to see the signature move. Like if you don't do that, why did you not do that? And so it's just a thing of, when you're new and you want to try so many things and then all of a sudden you're like, no, those are your core things. So I love that advice of like, do what you do well and what you're known for. And that's what they want to see.
Absolutely.
Rob, what kind of advice would you give to Candice too? Just like, her getting back in the ring at like, after years of not doing it, but like before match prep, so to speak, how would you recommend she maybe prepare a little bit ahead of time?
Well, I mean, she probably has I don't want to say procedure. Yeah, thank you. That's a better word. Probably has a warm-up routine, and whatever's gotten her this far, I would stick to that. To whatever it is, warming up, breathing is important. But what's gonna get her over is being, the not necessarily old school, but having that value of doing like what she used to do, instead of saying, hey, I can be like the new kids nowadays, but do it better than they do. Like let them have that. They weren't taught right anyway. So this is this moment in history. If this had happened on this date,
yeah,
but it didn't. You like that?
Yes.
All right.
And so it is.
Yeah.
Why is it showing as a video? I want to show it as an image here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I know why. This is what. I know why. Here we go. Boom.
Okay. All right. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm good at holding on to shit. You know, like I don't throw shit away a lot, like when it means something. I have like all kinds of contracts from different wrestling promotions over the years and stuff. This is the very first one. This is the contract I signed to get trained by the original Sheik. So this is December, was it say 2nd of 89 or is it say 12th? No, so
Second. December 12th. You're right. December 12th.
Right. And the reason that's important, as Katie pointed out, is that's Sabu's birthday.
What? Wow.
Wow.
That's so cool.
So
That's
if
crazy.
I sign, I don't know if anyway, he probably didn't tell me that it was his birthday. I was thinking maybe I met him on his birthday and signed this contract, but they probably gave it to me to take home and bring back, most likely.
Yeah.
But either way, I know Sabu didn't tell me that it was his birthday, and we just found out when Katie was pointing this out. So that's pretty interesting. But anyway, so let's break it apart. Tariff Inc. At the top, you see that as the corporation. That is Farhat backwards, which is Sheik's last name.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Ed Farhat, yes. So Williamson, Michigan. Agreement between Tariff and Rob Zatkowski. So $2,000 to compensate the cost of my training program. I never finished paying them. I actually have the receipts. And, This came in a envelope, by the way. You can see the Sheik's.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
The contract is still in the envelope, and
What?
with it are some of these receipts, check stubs for payments that I made.
Look at that.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
it
Dude,
looks
that's
like I still owed him. I only owed him $450 here, so looks like I owed him $450. My first match that we talked about that last week because we looked at the poster. If you remember, that was our moment in history last week. Was the poster for my first match in Toledo, Ohio, in 1990, and I told you guys he took some money off of what I owed him there. It was either $70 or $75 that Sheik took off, which I have the receipt here for it. And so I ended up owing him still $450 out of that. Years later, I told Sabu, I said, hey, I found my contract and shit. I still owe Sheik money. I want to pay him off. And he goes, nah, don't worry about it. He goes, don't worry about it. And I said, well, no, I mean, I got the money now. This was like way later. And like, I'm a star. And I'm like, I can pay him back, you know? And he said, he made enough money off. You don't worry about it. And I think I might've like let it go for a little bit. And I brought it up again. And I was like, dude, like, what's up with that? Like, I want to pay him the money. Sabu said, I gave it to him.
What? Wow. What a guy.
Sabu was like that. Sabu was like that.
Cool.
So I'm sure he did because he was over generous. Completion of the training program. So for a period of 2 years with an option to renew the contract at the end of the period, and both parties agree. So I'm paying not just to be trained, but also he's going to represent me for like 2 years. He's going to help me to get booked. And if I get booked by anybody else, it has to go through him, and he can take a commission off of it. Go to the next part.
Sure. The next page? This one?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to do a bigger screenshot of this, but you can look at that one in the meantime, but I'll get a better screenshot here so you can.
You can see Joyce Farhat. That was Sheik's wife that signed it there. Terry Brunk, right above my.
Oh yeah.
We know Terry Brunk is Sabu, so he was the witness, and this was 1989, the year that I graduated high school.
Wow. 1989. There it is. Look at that. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
No guarantee that you would qualify. So I'm telling my dad, I want to be a pro wrestler. My dad thinks I'm crazy. And now I got to tell him, well, there's no guarantees. I might just be giving him $2,000. They might just be taking my money and telling me to fuck off. I don't qualify, or something. But that's just the way it is. How can they say for sure you'll make it, right?
Right.
Got to get my own living quarters. At the end, if I qualify, they'll get me work in wrestling. We will retain a 2-year contract with an option that we would collect a 10% booking fee for booking you in the wrestling business. So, now I get booked somewhere else. I'm making $50 to $100, and they're going to take $5 or $10 out of that, or at least they have the right to.
Yeah.
But that's standard. That's standard, though, for how it was back there. And really, they want the bookings to go through them because that way they can control me. And you don't want to waste your time training somebody. Let's say I train Dom and I spend, 2 full days a week training him for months. And then he goes on his own time and goes and works out with some other people, develops some bad habits, ends up doing some shit that I'm not proud of, but he goes and tells everyone that I trained him.
Right. Yeah, that's shitty.
So you gotta have some control over that, protect your reputation. And of course, as I've said many times, it wasn't like a school. It was like a little family. There was, besides Sheik and Sabu, there was just me and Tom, Judge Dredd, and Dango, and that was it. That was there all the time. Once in a while, somebody else would pop in. We would have a really rough training session where we go home all beat up and bruised. We wouldn't see them again for 4 months, 5 months, and then they would come back for another workout.
Wow.
I don't know if is there anything underneath that, or that's
just the signatures. I think here I'll pull it up.
Yeah. So anyway, just all right, cool. 1989, just something else that I wanted to share with you. I have boxes and boxes of shit, so I'm going to do this.
That's awesome, man.
What I love about that, Rob, is the lessons that you're teaching and had learned in that is what you end up teaching your children. Like my children were 16, 13, and 11 now, and in basketball, and these coaches, you're with one coach, and if I'm teaching them be the first to arrive and the last to leave and the coach is late, like you got to start firing that coach, or if they're saying one thing and they're not showing up. And it's crazy how as a parent I have to enforce contracts like that in my kids so that they have the values of what you got in that contract. You learn that at a very young age. If you go elsewhere, you're going to learn bad habits. Same thing. My kids, if they go here, it might be easier, but you're learning the wrong way and they're going to have to retrain. And it's a really cool thing to, when you start incorporating all those things from your career into your children, you're like, wow, like that stuff that they did for me, it really made a difference on who you became.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the Sheik trained us in a really specific way. Like nobody else wrestled like us. So it wouldn't be compatible for anybody else to like, that's a big part of my story and a big part of my style and the way that I've worked my whole career is because Sheik trained me. Like, that's why me and Sabu have that in common. We're family, and you can't, not other people wouldn't be able to fit the, they'd be a leopard with stripes instead of spots.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Sabu paid that debt without telling you. It's like the fastest way to get what you want is to give it. And he's giving good, but he doesn't have to even tell you. You know, like it's so powerful when you just do good to do good.
Yeah.
And that always comes back around to you. And to have, you know, family like that you were so close with, like they had your back without you even knowing they had your back, you know,
Yeah.
and it's such a beautiful thing to build and create and to carry on, you know, when you have somebody do that for you, and then there's an opportunity for you to do that to somebody else in some way, shape, or form. Like that's when we start leaving legacies and more impacts on, you know, doing good for people. I love that you shared that powerful
awesome.
Story.
Yeah.
Sure. Nowadays, people can't even work out without telling people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as far as like, yeah. By the way, I've been working out in my own gym for so long. The whole new gym etiquette and the whole gym lifestyle isn't something that I even know, like from firsthand experience. I see it on Instagram, but like last time I was still working out in the public gyms, people weren't putting their cameras and tripods everywhere and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different thing. Like I didn't experience it at all, and they don't do that in my gym.
Yeah. It happens a lot at the gym I go to. I know people put their cameras up, and it's like some guy's like talking on his phone at the same time, and you're like, "What the heck is going on here?" You know? It's
but
just
I've literally seen pictures of Rob in his gym, so he had to have set the camera up and did it.
Wow, I'm not saying nobody gets mad for anybody walking in front of their way. That's what we don't have.
Yeah. Candice, Wrestling Historian has another question for you. How did you end up officiating the Van Dam's wedding? Yeah, how'd that all come to be exactly? And Rob, I guess you guys can weigh in on that too, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
it was my idea completely, and I was just messaging her, and then I was thinking like I wanted to be a woman. First of all, I was like, I just can't picture Rob doesn't like male energy at all. So like to picture like a traditional guy being up there to share our most special moment, I just couldn't even envision it.
Yeah.
And then, so I was thinking, okay, I wanted someone to be a woman that I really look up to, and that's glamorous, that I know is going to show up looking great. One thing is, you know, as like she's beautiful, but not just that. Someone that I respect their values, and she stands up for what she believes in. She's a sex symbol, but also a family woman like me, like that. And so I see things that I see in myself in her, and things I want to see in myself. I see it in her, and I just have so much respect for her. But I was thinking of who, and I thought of Candice, and I messaged her on Instagram and was talking to her about it. And then she was really excited to do it. And so she...
you went and got ordained just to do this, right?
Yeah.
And she just did such an amazing job. And she's so well-spoken. And like the way she did a TED Talk, like she can talk so well. Hold on. We're getting interrupted.
That's all right.
She's so well-spoken and can speak really well in front of big crowds. So I just knew she would do perfect, and then she did and took it so serious. Like I was thinking of afterwards, you like either posted or you told me about like doing the whole ice bath right before, like, and how much you prepared for the wedding. I was like, wow, she like just the time you took out was just we were just so grateful for it, and so grateful that you did it. And I knew it was something you would be amazing at, and of course you were. So yeah, I didn't even think about anybody else. She just like checked all the boxes of who I wanted to be standing on the altar with us.
That's awesome.
And I actually thought that me and Candice were getting married.
He's like, either way.
We had Jennifer there, like 23, right?
I'm just marrying somebody. I'm just
I'm here at least.
But I think what's so cool for me, and thank you, Katie, for all of that you saw in me, is we didn't know each other well, but she really saw who I was. You know, we had a few interactions and we had good times together, but it's not like we had talked or hung out, you know, a lot. You know, it was a new relationship.
Yeah.
And I just love like how she can see who I really was. Like she really knew, like women, that's the femininity part for me, is our intuition is so spot on, and we can magnify things. You give us a house, we make it a home. You know, you give us intimacy, we give you a baby. And so her femininity saw like my heart, you know, and my soul. Like to ask somebody to marry you, like that's a big ordeal. And to only have known me for a short time, like that's the kind of femininity that I talk about. It's like you can see that in somebody, that they're not wearing a mask or they're pretending to be so and so, because you can see beyond the mask, and she's able to do that. It's beautiful. Thank you, Katie.
Of course. And you're like, Rob, everybody could like you stand up for what you believe in. Even if it's not the most popular opinion, you stand on it. And I love that quality, because so many people fold to just be like everybody else. And like, I even sometimes feel like I'm not, like, I don't really like post my opinions and things like that. But where Rob will like argue with anybody online.
Only wrong people.
Only the wrong people. Yeah, that's it.
I love that. One of the many things that I love about you, Candice, you always stand up for what you believe in.
And like that's like people get so concerned with like, oh, what are people going to feel about me, or if I voice my opinion on that. I think sometimes that's just short-term thinking, where it's just like in the long run, if you stick to your guns and who you are and what your values are, ultimately that'll pay off in the grand scheme of it all. And so that's what a great quality.
I get to that more as a mom. Before I just felt like I don't want any confrontation.
Yeah.
So,
well, as a mom, you get so much confrontation. So you got to become. I feel like I love standing up for my values, but I always stand up for them to be a force for good. Like I'm never like, I hate you, you're wrong, I hope you die. Like I might not want this president, but I still don't want them dead. I might just say, oh, I just believe in this, and like this is why I stand on this, and this is a good moral and value I stand on. So I just, whenever I do stand up for my values, I try to make it for a good thing. I'm never trying to put down anybody else, or, you know, I don't have time in my life for bad. Like, you know, like I just don't have the time for it. You know, when you're trying to be a force for good, like you got a lot on your plate. And when you have babies and families, and, you know, we're also working moms, like you gotta like pick and choose what you want to focus on. And I don't got time for all that other stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and it's always came across that way to me, that you always have great intentions.
Speaking of standing on values, you want to do some IVD recommends? You got a graphic for us?
Yeah, I do have a graphic for you. Here, let me pull it up. RVD recommends time.
Well, that's karma's bad.
Look at, here it is, Rob. Boom. RVD recommends. So there we go. Here's a little graphic too. Here, I'll remove this one. Boom, that one's gone. You got this one. Boom, you're in the corner.
All right. So this is just I'm gonna recommend. These are 5 things that I recommend that you make yourselves aware of, so that when you hear these things, a flag comes with it. And Candice, you can give me your opinion on it, because you might not agree completely, and it's not that important anyway. This is just some things that I think about. I think it might help some IVD listeners or whatever. And some of this we've talked about. This should sound familiar to you regular watchers, but number one thing I recommend that you are aware of: if you hear somebody say, "Don't you have anything better to do?" I want you to be aware what they're really saying is, I don't approve of your values, and my values tell me that you didn't make the right choice with your time and your values. That's all they're saying. Like people get like they want to answer that. Don't you have something better to do? Well, yeah, well, I mean, I was going to do that, but I'm waiting for you. Look, what that the response that deserves is I chose to do this. This is the best choice with my values. I use my values, you use yours. Okay. Yeah. Number two, very similar. When they say, do you have to do that right now? Do you have to play that here? Do you have to? The only proper response that deserves is just saying, no, I'm not forced to. It's my choice. It's a very passive way of giving them exactly what they're asking. All right. There's this one. Wait, I didn't swear at you. Wait, I didn't yell at you. Wait, I didn't interrupt you. So what? So you're gonna start argument with me, and you get to set the standards. You get to decide the pace level. Like I can't swear unless you swear. Is that what you're saying? Like, just be aware when they say that of how stupid their words really are, because they think that they have a great point, and they really don't. Okay, this one, we talked about this. I had said that I always wondered why people think they have so much power with this word, but they'll say like, wait, is that a threat? Wait, are you threatening me? Is that a threat? Wait, is that a threat? I finally figured this out just like about 2 weeks ago. And now that I understand it, it makes so much sense to me that it's weird that I didn't understand it before. But there's a reason, and I'll tell you the reason. That is literally where the line is drawn. So when you go, we have a freedom of speech. It's our First Amendment, right? But there are limits on the freedom of speech. If you make somebody feel like they are threatened in instant danger, then you've crossed the line to where they should be able to defend themselves. And by crossing that line and making somebody feel threatened, that they're in immediate danger, that supports a harassment charge and or disorderly conduct. And it really is just all about that threat. So that's why they say that. That's why they say, wait, is that a threat? Wait. Is that a threat? Are you threatening me right there? Like, no matter what you're saying, you say a big paragraph. They're like, wait, did I just pick out a threat? Because then they think they have something. And if you feel like, even with assault, Don, we talked about that video. A guy acted like he was going to punch somebody, and the guy punched him. Well, that making somebody think that they're being swung at or whatever is enough to support an assault charge.
I didn't know that either, which is crazy. I didn't know that.
Right, because usually it's like, don't touch me. You touch me, I'm going to defend myself. But with that threat clause, and it is carefully written in there, it doesn't require an actual physical touch. All right, and here's the last one that I recommend. I recommend that you recognize this phrase for what it is. Don't fall for its traps. But hey, if you were a real man, you'd fight. Oh, yeah, that's why you need that weapon. You see two guys in a fender bender, right?
Yeah.
One guy says, you know what would be a good idea? I'm going to get out of my car on this busy road and go back to his car and punch his window a few times and see if I can get him to fight me. That would be a great idea right now since he hit my bumper. They go back there. Boom, the guy comes out. Now he's got a shovel or something. They're like, oh yeah, you're a fucking pussy. You need that shovel. You wouldn't need that if you weren't a fucking. No, I tell you, I don't support that. I think that the further we go in time, the further we're going to be moving away from that Neanderthal barbaric violence first kind of reaction. And I'm victim to it sometimes too. We all get angry where we're like, oh, you know what? I want to fucking smack him on his, I want to hit him. But in reality, I think that sets us back as people.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in the 1800s, you watched. Well, you weren't around, but you watched TV shows that were based on the 1800s, the Wild West shows, where you might take a horse to the grocery store. You might kill a couple people on your way home from the grocery store back then, and not even tell the cops about it or whatever, because that was about surviving back then. We don't live in that world anymore. We're way past that, but we're still at a point where men and women sometimes they want to fight. They want, and they want you to want to fight too, So why don't you put that down? Because you're a fucking pussy. Yeah, you got to have a fucking knife in your hand. No, they're protecting themselves because they don't want to fight because you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
So if you hear somebody trying to goat you into believing that fighting is a way to solve problems, you're gonna end up in jail. You're gonna end up paralyzed. There's cameras everywhere. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get shot. Everyone's got a gun. And guess what?
Yeah.
If you put that punch in and knock the guy out, 4 of his friends are gonna jump you from behind as soon as you do it. And you're not even gonna see it coming.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an intelligent choice to make. I think that we should try to, and it may sound hypocritical coming from a pro wrestler, but I think it'd be a good idea for us to try consciously with our brain to pull away from that and leave that behind us.
No doubt. 5 recommendations.
Well, I love all of these, and what all 5 of them fall into for me is 5 traps to make you lose. And so one of the things I've learned recently in my life is I have a choice to walk away. And if anybody was to treat me or say any of those things to me, I am at a season in my life where I could just walk away. And I think the hardest thing is when maybe that's a good friend or a family member. And if they don't have the basic, like, I can respect you, I can trust you, or feel safe with you, why am I even in a conversation with you?
Yeah.
I'm done. And I could be anywhere. I could be out for a dinner with people. I could be, and you know what? I have no problem just getting up. It's not even a conversation anymore. It's like, I'll just get up and walk away. I just don't want to entertain my time. If that's things that are coming out of your mouth and you want to put me in a trap to get in a cycle, any one of those 5 traps, I'm like, we are on a different length. Like, I'm just out. So I love the recommendations and that you're talking about that and especially making men aware of that. Because I think, like the one you said, like, real men fight. Actually, real men walk away.
Yeah.
Doesn't even bother them. Unless they touch a woman.
That's it.
It really is like when they rage out and fight and screaming at each other on the street and all that shit, they think that they're showing toughness, but really that's weakness.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You're showing your insecurity by doing all that stuff. And like, that's all coming into fridge. Like, I want to prove myself because I don't believe in myself that I would do something. So I'm standing up and, hey, you want to go? Like that kind of aspect.
Right. And then, you punch the guy, his head hits the sidewalk. Now he's in a coma or he dies. You're in jail. Great. You were a real good, man. Real manly of you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Carmen.
Candice, Ribshot here has a good suggestion for you about getting prepped if you're going back in the ring, is bang out social media as a promotional tool. Start a comeback vlog series to get your story out there. Ribshot.
You know what? It's a great idea, and I do struggle with that. I don't struggle with being vulnerable or sharing the story, but finding the time. When you have the kids and the travel and all the things, it's a real job to. I'm sure you guys know, consistently show up here every week. And put your time and energy into that. And so I think that's a really great piece of advice, because most people don't know a lot about my story, or real in depth, and I share a lot of that in my community and with my clients. But I like that, so thank you for that advice. Good advice.
Yeah, good stuff. Shout out to Rib Shot. Good
Hey,
stuff.
Ripshot said something funny earlier too, and I forgot. Like I was gonna say it. It was in the chat room earlier. Did you see his earlier message? Or
No, I didn't see it at all. I missed it.
I forgot what he said.
Baby Mahara said for $2 says Candice for the Hall of Fame, Queen Diva.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah.
One of these days.
Put
One of
her
these
in.
days.
Yeah.
We'll vote for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got my vote, Candice, for sure.
Thank you.
Akos 517, thanks for the $2. Candice, any memories or stories of Booker T? We talked about Booker T last week too. I gotta grab my charger, so I gotta plug it in real quick. But go ahead.
I just have good memories of working with him, like being a really good stand-up man, and obviously his wife. And when you really have certain people that are leaders behind the scenes, like, standing in integrity of who they are and, keeping kind of the business in check. Like, I think of Booker T as one of those people, and his wife, like just really representing a husband and a wife and integrity and values. I don't have any like real personal stories with him actually to share other than How about you, Rob? Do you have a personal story with him?
Yeah, Booker and I were road wives for quite a while in WWE, and we got along great. When we were a tag team during that time, we rode together, and we got along so well that like we would take turns paying for shit, and it was never a problem. Paying for dinner, gas, whatever. It was never like, wait a minute, I paid 2 times in a row. What? We didn't give a fuck. We were just like easygoing, and
I think it's kind of like what you were talking about in your recommendations. It's like you trust each other, right? Like totally. Bro code, like respect, right? Like kind of common sense. If I got it this time, you get it next time, and that's what builds really close relationships. And that's kind of what I would see of him. Like I just respect him. I know he's standing in integrity and morals and values.
We both like to smoke. We didn't like to talk business. If there was any business talk, we'd get it over with right away. So the rest of the 3-hour trip, we wouldn't have to do it. And then we even liked, like, if we were gonna stop somewhere, when you think about it, that's your life. Like, you're living when it's 300 days a year and you're on the road. Even where you stop and have dinner could be an argument with somebody if they don't want to go to the same place or whatever. But to have someone that, like, hey, you want to go to a strip club? Sure, and let's stop in. Yeah, let's you want to go to the gym and then do this. And so, yeah, he's one of the very, very few guys that I had the chance to get along with that well.
Candice, who did you travel on the road with a lot?
Mostly with Tori and Victoria.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes Chavo in there, or Carlito. But one of the things like that I was thinking of when you were sharing the story of Booker T is, when I was young in the business, I never thought like, I felt like they were a family, but I don't think people really get that it's a family until you're like out of the business 20 years or in a different part of the business. Like Tori and Victoria are my dear friends, and so many people in the business. And like, if I don't talk to Rob and Katie very often, but if they called me and said they needed something, I would be there. Like, they know I would be there. I would show up and do that. And you don't think that you're going to get that gift from the business, but that is like one of the most beautiful gifts. Like, we understand the lives we lived and the things we went through and the great times and the hard times and the traveling on the road and being away from your family. But there's so many people in the business that, I mean, really are truly family to me, and seeing their kids and their families, like, You don't think that 20 years ago. Like when I'm going through security with Rob at LAX, like I'm not thinking, oh, in 20 years I'm gonna get to meet his twin babies.
You're
Like,
thinking Rob smells like
gift.
weed. He's gonna get busted.
Rob's gonna get busted.
Yes.
How'd you get through TSA?
Like, and he gonna get security. I'm gonna go to jail with him.
Rob's screwed, man. What's going on?
Hey, baby.
I still don't know how you got through security back then.
Yeah. She's good.
Right? Hey, Maddie adds, Rob, that he says his mom says, "Thank you, Van Dam fam. Happy days, spark 'em." And then he also adds, when the babies had the bows on, he said his mom said the bow is cute, and to Arby, loved RVD and Katie. So he liked the bow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know that she loves dressing them up and stuff, and she always pops me. But yeah, when you put that little bow on, it's so cute. It's so cute.
Look at that.
Even cuter in person than it does in pictures.
She's turning baby face right now, Rob.
Oh, they're sweeter.
Just a couple more questions. This is for both of you guys. To Rob and Candice, one more match in TNA. Thank you. What's one more match for you, both of you guys?
Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
For me, you know, when I went back to TNA the first day as an agent, I just stood by the ring, and I knew I wanted to go back in the ring. Yeah. And I also knew I didn't want to it's not like I just want to go for a title run or for me. It's like I want to go with purpose, and I needed to rediscover who I was. You know, I needed to discover how to be an agent, and I had to learn that and learn this new family and find my way there and rediscover myself. And what does that look like in one more match? And I'm still in that process. And it's getting closer and it's exciting. And, you know, it's really great when it scares the hell out of you because like, I don't know what the first bump is going to feel like, but I know it's going to hurt.
You're well aware of that, right?
I would regret never stepping into the ring. And so I'm just trying to create the right opportunity of what does that look like and how can I give back to the business and TNA like the best way I can. Oh, you're so gorgeous. You're gorgeous.
And she's so expressive too. She's so expressive. Boy, that's great though. Somebody did ask you too, Candice, about this, and I think this is interesting. Gary Rossetti, he asked, need to ask Candice Michelle if she's making an appearance at the Hardy compound for the big righteous deletion. What's going down?
I have not officially been invited to that. But I am excited to see, like, one of the things about the Hardy Boys, and just all the legends I know, is like watching them continuously recreate themselves and rebrand themselves. And they still to this day, I remember learning this lesson from Ric Flair. We were overseas and there was a house show match. So it wasn't a lot of people for overseas. It was like a couple thousand people. And he's backstage and he's got his robe on and he's woo and he's warming up and he's like, can't die. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you do the best performance, whether there's this many people or 100,000 people. And I was like, I just watched. I mean, he's an icon, right? And I was like, he's like, people pay their hard-earned money to sit in that seat. And I was like, got it. And I just watched that. And so to be able to watch the Hardy Boys just continue to reinvent themselves, and they go out there and they give everything every single time. And it's such an incredible experience to be on this side of it and watch it. And, you know, like to be with Rob and like all these legends telling these stories, like this contract that he shared tonight. Like, this is history. It's legendary. And to be a part of that is like unbelievable to just see how they keep recreating themselves, and it's super inspiring. So I love that. So we'll see what happens at the compound.
Righteous deletion. Hey, is Jeff's middle name really Nero, or is that just a character?
That's a good question.
I think that's think it's his real middle name.
Really?
I'll
I
text
think
Matt.
so. Ask ChatGPT.
Right.
Oh, that's a
Maybe
good
Alexa.
question. I'll text Matt
I'm
right
a
now.
total
I would believe it. I would believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie Carrizo has a good double-ended question for both you guys.
Double-ended.
Paved the way for the 90s and 2000s high flyer in men's wrestling, and then he asks who paved the way for modern women's wrestling then too. So, Rob, who do you think paved the way to the 90s and 2000 high flyer? I think I'm sitting with one of them right now. But,
yeah, I mean, before me, I guess. Well, I guess I was 90s and 2000s. I mean, there was, but when I was young, getting into it, I could watch people like Jushin Thunder Liger. I remember like that was real early. Like I don't even know, maybe before I had a match, maybe before '89. I don't know, but I remember seeing him. I mean, if you go back far enough, Jimmy Snuka or Siviafi or the Islander that would do the top rope splash. Those were considered high flyers back in the day. Owen Hart, But then with my of course, that was the one that inspired me the most. And then I grew up with other peers of mine that we were all being talked about at the same time, pushing the envelope as being high flyers, and that was me and Sabu and 123 Kid, Jerry Lynn, guys like that.
Yeah, those are good ones. Candice, I somebody that immediately came to my mind for modern women's wrestling, as somebody you mentioned earlier, was somebody like a Beth Phoenix. I think set a precedent kind of during that time. Do you agree with that, or is there another name that you think of too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely love all of her work, and she was incredible. I would just add, like Trish and Lita were kind of before us, and to watch, like, especially to watch Trish come back, and be even more beautiful and more talented, like, those are kind of things that I look at, like, wow, you were this then, but look at what you are now. Like how do you get better and continue to do that? And her and Lita just had this dynamic before we came in, and so they were kind of starting that before the Divas came in, and they continued that into the Beth Phoenix and Charlotte Flair, Natalia, obviously. And even like Bianca Belair, it just kind of starts to grow. But to have Nat there for so long, like I remember being there with her and she's still there, and like that body of work is just incredible, and rebranding and continuing to elevate. So I'll definitely say that.
Yeah, man, those are good ones. Those are great ones.
Tiger Mask also. I want to throw him on my list.
Oh, that's a good choice. That's definitely a good choice. Candice, who in TNA has stood out to you? It could be a women's wrestler or a men's wrestler. Like, what younger talents have stood out to you so far?
Yes, I love the Elegance brand. And by Elegance, she is a phenomenal wrestler. And the more I watch her and see her, and no matter who she's working, having really great matches. I love Jada. She's young and on fire and high flyer, really incredible. I really like Mr. Elegance. It's just a completely different body of work. And so coming in, and I also just look at a lot of people who work for the match, right? Like where you're coming in and it's like, I believe that when you make your opponent look good, you look good. Right. And I also believe if you're just trying to do your shit, like it doesn't make the match look good. But I think a lot of the talent there really gets this concept on what's happening. And so having a new TV title for the women is really exciting there, because we're kind of getting everybody a little chance to kind of shine individually outside of, what groups they're with, and and seeing who's really rising to the top. And I think this is a really exciting time for the women at TNA there.
Has there been a women's TV championship before? I don't think I've ever heard of one.
Not that I have. I think this is the first one from my knowledge.
Yeah.
And so they're doing a whole tournament. Yeah, and so it's a really big. Yeah.
Hey, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Cool.
That's great. Well, man, I'm excited. TNA doing some really cool stuff like the deletion matches, and you guys are really, I think, catching some good momentum. Obviously, being on AMC and stuff too, so it's pretty neat. You're on the forefront of that too, and you're back in the mix, Candice. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I feel so blessed.
Well, cool. Is there anything you want to plug? Yeah, do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, I mean, just really, TNA and this opportunity of people to. What I love about it is we got people that have been wrestling for decades, and we got the up and comers, and the talent is just absolutely incredible. We're going to be in Philly coming up, and Nick Nemeth is going to face Jeff Hardy. I mean, this is an incredible match. And I know we have Frankie Kazarian going to be facing Moose, who is really the face of this company. And so for me to just be a part of this backstage and watch the Women's Championship, TV Championship start to come to an end, I think it's a great opportunity for people to start to tune in and see what we're really doing there.
Heck yeah, TNA's doing some good stuff, and great insight too, Candice. I love the perspective you put on a lot of different things today too. That was awesome.
Thank
With the
you.
song,
I love
you too. Hey, hold on. Before we close the conversation, I want to put somebody over. I think about this. I've thought about this for the last couple of weeks, but it's always in between when we're doing shows, and I'm like, fuck, I should have put this guy over again. But he I'm always talking about commitment, and that's what's missing is the people's mindset, because me and Sheik's boys, we got trained to actually believe in the moment, and we think we're in a fight. So we're like, dude, if I'm on the street and this happens, I can't just quit. So like, I gotta, here I am, got to fucking save the moment. Anyway, as far as commitment goes, someone that really stands out to me, that really fucking gets it, Lio Rush.
Yes. Great one, Rob. He's awesome.
And the reason that he is so committed is because he's a special character, but that same mindset can still be applied by anybody. In other words, I talk about how, like, when everybody now does a dive out to the floor and the catchers all stop what they're doing, they stop wrestling, and then they just like stand there and they wait and they wait and they wait, and then they catch the guy, and then it doesn't get the reaction that it should, but it gets an obligatory pop because somebody dived. Lio Rush, he's not going to stop working. Like, if he's outside and you're going to dive on him, he's still going to be like, he's going to scream, and then he's going to catch you or whatever. That's all it takes. If you're not Lio Rush, if you're out there, is how about putting your hand on the back of your neck, your lower back? Maybe they think they're selling when they're going. Maybe they think that they look like they're selling, but they don't. They look like they stopped working and they're just there to spot somebody, and they're taking a break from their match. Maybe it's harder to do than I realize. Maybe it's just, more natural for some of us to be able to keep working until that body hits you. But Lio Rush, he gets it. He's committed the whole time, and he knows what his character would do in any given situation. So, one, I want to put him over. Two, I want to tell other wrestlers that are interested in my advice, watch that guy and learn about his commitment, how solid he is into that character that he wants to portray and be.
Great choice, Rob. He's really, really good. Yeah, he embraces it for sure. Well, cool. Well, this has been a blast. And what?
I just want to add to that, heard it said like that, you know, believe in the moment, you know, and it's a really telling way on how to convey that to people, and something that I can learn from you and sharing that, because you get out there and you're thinking about the move or, you know, this or that or the storyline or the day, and you forget you're in the moment, you know, of like, what are you actually doing? And even in life, you know, I think you talked about this, like we worry about what's going to happen in the future and it never happens, you know, or what happened in the past.
Hypothesizing. Depressive hypothesizing. I before my dad died, I used to make myself cry just imagining, like, oh my God, what if he died? What if he died? What would I do? And then it really made it so much worse just because I was already.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
no
be
doubt.
in the moment.
Be in the moment.
Believe in the moment. Believe in the moment. Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to go off on.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Rob said it best here. This 2 hours flew by, so he was in the moment for the 2 hours. 2 hours flew by.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for being so generous with your time. Yes. We'll see you guys next time here on One of a Kind with RVD and
Candice.
Candice.
Love you.
And Saba and Karma and Katie